I'm Isla, and today we're going to be discussing how to breed Madagascar Hissing Cockroaches as feeders for your reptiles and amphibians. Alright, let's begin. So to start off, we're going to be talking about the setup that you need for these critters. So for the hissers, you can use a large plastic bin. Make sure it's decently high that they can't climb out easily. Or you can use a glass tank like I have here. I used an old one that I had from a previous pet that I had. So depending on how big of a colony you want to raise, that will determine how big of a container you need to use for them. So for the material that you would be raising them on, you can use egg cartons. You can either use them in their whole form like this, or you can rip off this front piece and use the back area. Personally, I like to use this area, the back part, just because I feel like they can fit in it better since these holes are kind of small for them. So for the heating and humidity, they like it hot. So you can just use a reptile lamp along with a reptile daytime bulb. So for my tank, I would use a 75 watt to 100 watt bulb, and that would be fine. And I would turn that on during the day and then turn it off at night. Also, you can use a spray bottle to spray at least once a day to keep up the humidity. These things will ensure that the cockroaches grow at a much faster rate and will reproduce faster. So now once you have your bin and you have the carton set up in it, you're going to want to use Vaseline to smear along the top edges all around the tank. This will prevent them from being able to climb out, especially the babies. Those like to climb out a lot. So you're gonna want to use this, but beware that Vaseline will easily melt if you use a heat lamp. So you might have to do maintenance on that to make sure it doesn't melt all over everything. Those work really well. Now on to food and water for them. So hissing cockroaches eat a variety of grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts. They can also eat cats and dog food. So you can grind up a variety of things. You could use dry cereals like Cheerios, Bran Flakes. You can use oatmeal, the dry oats. So you can use basically a lot of those edible things that are around your house, depending on what you have. And that you can grind it up in a blender, and that would be their main source of food. Now, weekly, you can provide them with fresh fruits and vegetables. So things like apple slices, carrots, maybe peppers, potatoes. Things that aren't too wet, that'll mold easily, are good. For their water source, you can use an organic sponge or a folded up paper towel. Soak this in water and then wring out any excess water. Then place that into a dish, and I usually put that dish by their food dish. So I just use an old container lid to hold the paper towel. Now, how to clean your enclosure for your hissing cockroaches. So prepare another empty bin. And I usually clean my container every 2 weeks. But depending on how big your colony is, how dirty it gets, that'll be up to you how often to clean it. Also note that if you disturb them too often to clean, they will not reproduce as fast. So first I would start by getting your cartons and just trying to shake off any poop and spilled food off, and then placing it into the other container. So repeat this with all of it until you get all the cockroaches out. If you see any of your cartons are like really holy or like in bad shape, you can replace them with new cartons. Might be hard trying to get the roaches off though. Also, while you're cleaning, you will probably want to do this in a well-ventilated area because the dust can bother your lungs. When you finish getting all the cartons out, there might be a lot of roaches on the bottom. So now you probably want to use tongs instead of your hands. Also, you see I'm wearing gloves because you may have or develop an allergy to them. Like, I first started out, I had them and I had no reaction from holding them. But as the months went by, I started developing a rash whenever they crawled on me. So now I have to wear gloves and use tongs. Well, while you're transferring them over to the other container, some of the babies might try to climb out. So just pay attention to those and make sure they don't escape. So now when you have every live cockroach taken out and transferred, after you've done that, you can use a wet cloth to wipe down any stuck debris on the sides or bottom of the tank. You may also have to reapply Vaseline or clean that area. So now, for the water and food, make sure you refill. If they need more dry food, refill that. For the paper towel, I replace that weekly, so to keep it clean. And then also, in the middle of each week, I make sure to clean the paper towel and the lid area. So, we can start by putting everything back. And you can replace the cartons too if you see any that are like really bad shape. Hold on, can't make it sense. Well done.